Hey everyone, my name is Glen Mourning and I am an educator and the author of the Crunchy Life Kids series. For those of you who are unfamiliar with any of the books that I have put together, I write from the perspective of what it was like for myself as a child growing up in inner city America, as well as from the perspective of the collection of stories that I have gathered over the last 11 years or so as a language arts teacher. So this is my third year participating in the Literary Hill Book Festival, and although we are unable to meet in person, I am still delighted to just be a part of such an amazing community and such an awesome program that everyone has put together for all of the viewers. I am from Connecticut and I moved down to Washington, D.C. to pursue my career in education. I have been a language arts teacher in grades 1 all the way up to 5th grade. And I have just had the most amazing time as a school teacher over these past several years down in DC, where my latest accomplishments have been entering the space of becoming an author. The Crunchy Life Kids series, which is my most notable body of work, originally had consisted of 5 individual titles where you follow the 10-year-old Charles Anthony Thomas through this fictional journey, this realistic fictional journey as a 5th grader in the fictional elite public charter school. As the year in life is very challenging for him, what ends up happening is his teacher, Miss Brown, she ends up resigning in the beginning of the year due to the overwhelming challenges that she faces as a classroom teacher. So what ends up happening is when Miss Brown resigns, imagine like Michael Jordan becoming the classroom teacher. And that is exactly what happens in the Crunchy Life series. So his name is Tyrone Leroy, who replaces Miss Brown. He becomes the permanent substitute, perhaps. And he is a former NFL superstar, but then he becomes a classroom teacher in one of the most challenging schools, arguably in the country. So throughout book 1 of the Crunchy Life series, you get to learn all about Charles and some of his challenges, where you are then introduced to book 2 titled Naughty or Nice for the Holidays, where Charles himself seems to be making a little bit of progress, but things are still not going his way. Mr. Leroy doesn't quit on him as they enter Black History Month, where the students continue to learn a ton about lesser known facts and information about Black history in America, where Charles is then paired up with Aaliyah, who becomes like his mentor, his best friend perhaps, and she helps him, make smarter decisions as he gets ready to hopefully take the big state test, which will allow him to pass the 5th grade, where you then have book 5 titled Every Point Counts, which is a play on words, right? There's a basketball tournament as well as the fact that the big state test is coming up. Someone asked me, why would a successful millionaire NFL superstar leave the classroom, leave the NFL and enter the classroom? So with that mindset, I was like, okay, well, if I was a superstar NFL athlete, what would motivate me to then wanting to go to become a teacher, right? Where a lot of people say that you don't necessarily get paid for the amount of work you put in, where the stress level may be higher than most, other professions, right? So what I did was I created the prequel to the Crunchy Life series titled The Dream Chaser, and this is Tyrone Leroy's backstory. So this is all about Tyrone Leroy as a child, as a middle school, high school student, and eventually it explains why he would end up leaving the NFL later on and coming back and working in urban education. But what makes the Crunchy Life series so unique, everyone, is not the fact that there's this sequence of events that takes place from 5th grade, in the beginning of 5th grade, throughout the entire school year, where students learn a lot about African American history, where students learn how to be, have opportunities to persevere. But what really sets the Crunchy Life Kids series apart from most books that I've read or have heard students read is the fact that there are real life scenarios and real life events with genuine situations that kids in urban America go through in terms of learning about police brutality, learning about the Black Lives Matter movement, learning about peaceful protesting that is misconstrued in mainstream media, But while all of that seems to be, pretty insightful and educational, there are also traditional fairy tales tied into the Crunchy Life series. What I mean by traditional fairy tales is during book 5, there's a basketball tournament, and one of the boys on our team gets blown by a student on the opposing team as if his legs are made out of straw. Another student tries to stop the other kid from scoring, but he gets blown by as if his legs are made out of sticks. And then eventually what happens is Charles, our main character, whose nickname is Crunchy, he has to guard the kid, but he stops him as if his legs are made out of bricks. The same way the Three Little Pigs had to switch up their housing, right? So you have these traditional fairy tales from Cinderella, Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears, Beauty and the Beast, tied into the Crunchy Life series. The book that I am most proud of is Aaliyah Marie, who is one of the main characters in the original books. She actually describes and shares her memory of the entire school year, which is told through her perspective, but it's all told in poetic format. Now, a little bit about Aaliyah. In Hoop Dreams, she is an 11-year-old girl who lives in Southeast DC, and she has this burning desire to want to be a WNBA superstar. Now, her mother is a high-profile lawyer who has worked on, fictional cases similar to like a Trayvon Martin case, okay? And why that matters is because she wants Aaliyah to become an advocate or a doctor or a lawyer or someone in her mind, someone of esteem. But Aaliyah says that she can make an impact and change the world through sports, okay? So I just want to read just one short passage from Hoop Dreams. So she says, during the summer I had seen crimes that all had shared a theme. The ones who worked to keep us safe were taking lives during the day. The TV had displayed a boy, black and young, holding a toy. The cop showed up and suddenly the boy was killed right on the screen. Nobody knew just how or why the officer feared for his life. But what was he so scared about? Check the boy, no weapon found. Every week, others had seen crimes that simply shouldn't be. What was I supposed to think when those in charge don't look like me? My mom explained that is why she chose to live the lawyer life, helping those who need her skills, protecting lives from those who kill. And then one day it all just clicked. No one on TV would admit how being black seemed like a crime, disregarding lives like mine. People screamed justice for all, racism had been the cause. Tried to figure out just who was loved by red, the white, and blue. A year ago in school I learned of blacks who worked hard just to earn a chance to live a life in peace. They took their protests to the streets. Led by those who knew the truth, many died in their pursuit. Their fight was worth each life they lost. Social justice at all costs. The year was 1968, a man in charge and he was great. He asked for civil rights for all, jobs and houses, changed the laws. He started off describing peace, a life no one had known or seen. At first police had stopped his cause, he didn't quit, and so they marched. Dr. King became the man that many did not understand. How could he be so bold and brave to fight for justice unafraid? Gave such an amazing speech, rights for all he aimed to reach. His dream was full of love and life. What happened next just wasn't right. Someone thought he had to go. They took our king right off his throne. Instead of asking for revenge, the world just wanted hate to end. America had much to change. For years there was just so much pain. Since the start of 50 states, black people felt tons of hate. So many tried to work it out, and many forced to close their mouths, continued marching loud to see a better world to live and dream. The story goes on to allow Aaliyah's voice to come through in a very powerful way. She gets into a ton of events that actually take place during the school year once we get through learning a bit about her character and what she sees and how she views the world. You get to see just what life really feels like, sounds like, and what's at stake, I guess, for educators across the country to make sure that we're providing our kids with as many resources as possible. All right. So that's it for me this year. And if you are watching this and you have never taken a chance to just grab a book and just fall in love with reading, please do so at the end of our book festival this year, guys. Reading is just another way to travel the world, travel back in time into the future. And it's a gift that we hope everyone will enjoy. So until next time, my name is Glen Mourning, and thank you again.